Are your weekly and monthly meetings feeling like a complete waste of time? Well, I get it. Only because it's in the calendar doesn't mean that it's productive. Actually, the average professional spends 30% of their time in meetings, and most of them are recurring meetings. And well, ask yourself, when was the last time you left such a meeting feeling like, that was a really good use of my time? Well, I'm not here to blame the meeting. Actually, the recurring meetings aren't the problem. But then what is it? Hi everyone, it's Christian here. On this channel, we cover topics like collaboration, productivity, and leadership. And if there's one thing that I've seen across the board from startup to large enterprise, then it's this. Recurring meetings start with the best of intentions and then slowly but surely turn into time-wasting rituals. But it's not the meeting's fault, it's how we run them. There's no clear purpose, no ownership of the flow, same updates, same people, same dip in energy every week. So let's get real for a moment. Recurring meetings can take a huge amount of time out of your week every week. And in fact, as you either climb up the career ladder or your company matures, the number of recurring meetings tends to increase. By the way, talking about virtual recurring meetings, we know that they reduce the brain activity that's associated with focus work or deep work. So by having too many meetings, you're actually draining your own and your team's brain power for deep work. So why do so many of these recurring meetings go off the rails? Well, it's because no one revisits the reason for the meeting. And then there's no clear owner that keeps the meeting on track. They get stuck into status update mode, or people are arguing about operational details while everyone else is getting bored. So you end up sometimes with the wrong people in the room. So either you don't have the decision makers or too many attendees. Another reason why to revisit your team meeting from time to time. And well, in this environment, you hardly ever leave the meeting with clear actions to follow up on. So how do you spot a recurring meeting that's not working? Here are a couple red flags. Red flag number 1, people stop engaging. That means microphones are always muted, videos turned off, there are no questions, there are no answers, there's generally low engagement and only the very few same people talking all the time. For yourself, it might feel like you're speaking into a void. Red flag number 2, multitasking becomes the norm. So people are either on their phones or their laptops, answering emails, doing other things, or even better, the meeting organizer themselves, they don't pay attention all the time but do other things and thereby tell everyone, hey, it's not necessary to pay attention, right? And it's not seen as valuable. Number 3, it's the same update every single time. The meeting feels like the movie Groundhog Day and people go through the same motions every single time and well, feels boring, doesn't it? Red flag number 4, you've got the wrong people in the room. So if you feel like some of the attendees could just leave the meeting and it wouldn't make any difference, then it's probably a waste of their time. And number 5, you do meetings just out of habit, right? Even when the initial purpose has changed or the meeting's not relevant anymore, you say like, we're still doing it because it always has been our weekly meeting. Okay, so your recurring meeting is broken. Now what? Well, you've got 3 options and they are simpler than you might think. 1, kill it. 2, reframe it. 3, fix it. And yes, sometimes it's actually the best way to respect people's time by getting rid of a meeting altogether and getting it off the calendar. But some meetings, they don't need to be scrapped, they just need a little bit of tweaking, right? Or actually a complete overhaul. Let's start with the most drastic option, killing the meeting. Well, there are 2 tests that you could run. One is you schedule the meeting not for the rest of the year, but let's say for next month or next 2 months. And then at the end of that period, you can reevaluate if it's valuable, keep it, or if you can get rid of it. Or you do it the other way around. You skip the meeting for a month or 2 and see if anything changes. If it doesn't, you can get rid of the meeting, kill it, right? You don't need it on a regular basis. And by the way, I have something for for you to evaluate the quality of the meeting, it's a checklist, easy to use and fast. The link is in the video description below. Now here are a couple, suspects or usual suspects, types of meetings that are oft good candidates for killing. One is status updates with no immediate call for action. Try replacing them with other asynchronous forms of communication like Slack or Notion. And also get into the habit of spreading the updates when it happens and don't wait until the next meeting. Team meetings and team alignment meetings, try a bi-weekly rhythm or even less, right? Or maybe a written update or a shared dashboard to keep the departments aligned. When it's about team bonding, there are way better ways to achieve that and also ways that are way more fun. Recurring one-on-ones, I wouldn't get rid of it, but they are important to give real feedback or for coaching or deep discussion. Don't do status updates in one-on-ones. Okay, there's obviously also meetings that don't need to be killed. They just need a bit of an update, a new purpose. And we can reframe meetings by asking, what is the meeting intention? What are we trying to achieve? And is there a better way to get to this result? So here are a couple ways how to reframe a meeting. First of all, start with asynchronous communication, right? Get stuff out of the meeting that isn't where you don't need to be present. Change the meeting frequency, right? Maybe it's just bi-weekly instead of weekly. And also shrink the invite list. Focus on the people that really need to be there. And this is also where MeetGeek and other meeting assistants can help. So for example, there are workflows to automatically identify meeting highlights and then send a Slack alert with the recording link to after the meeting finishes. So there's also AI-created meeting highlights. There is a meeting transcript with search functionality that allows people to get the information that they need rather than having to watch the whole meeting or attend it themselves. There's even data analysis that gives you information about engagement and participation in those meetings. Now, the third option is for meetings that have value, but that are, buried under poor structure, bad habits, or don't have any goals. So we need a bit more of an overhaul. And we start by changing the name. Instead of saying weekly team meeting, express what you're doing there. For example, weekly blockers and wins, or our decision sprint. By reframing the title, the meeting really gets a different spin, a different dynamic, and people tend to show up more. Second piece is create a more dynamic agenda. Ditch the static agenda points from the template and prioritize based on urgency and importance, impact, and not just by routine. By the way, share that beforehand. Also, rotate roles. Who's the facilitator? You can rotate, but please make sure that the people that you're rotating to also get a bit of training, that they become good facilitators, because that has such a big impact on the quality of meetings. And at the end, try to always have a clear action points when you leave the meeting. So who's doing what by when, right? And this way you can have a high chance of making your meetings more productive. Now, to wrap things up, please remember it's not the recurring meetings that are the issue or the problem themselves. It's the people running them. So the worst thing that you can do is doing nothing. So don't let those zombie meetings continue to drain your energy and your team's nerves. My advice, start by starting. Pick one meeting that you want to either kill, reframe, or fix, and give it a fresh start. Have an open and honest conversation with the other participants of the meeting and decide together on what changes you want to try first. So you might be surprised how quickly the dynamic in those meetings changes. If you found this video helpful, please drop us a like. If you would like to see more content around collaboration, productivity, and leadership, subscribe to the channel. Actually, there is one more reason for bad meetings that I didn't mention, and I called it the ego trap. So if you're wondering what that is, you can watch this video next.